Okay, so we're in the second week in April. I can take a quick look at our spring garden. So here's our asparagus. Here's the middle plant. Get the big stalk starting to put its branch out a little bit, and then a bunch of little ones there. These ones have a few stalks, maybe 4 or 6 of them there. Still only that one little scraggly stalk there. The one in the back just has a few little stalks, and not much else happening. The one in the back there is looking fantastic, and now that it happens to be this time of day, I wonder if it's because it gets a little bit more sunlight. You can see right there. This time of day the house is shading, and that one's still in light and the other ones are in darkness, but those ones have popped up. You can see that. It's kind of difficult with that bright white fence, but here's our 2 stalks starting to put out their ferns there, and so we've got almost a little over half a dozen there, and so that is how the asparagus is looking. So with our spring bed, our onion experiment is starting to pop out right here, getting lots of those little flowers or bulbule things there, and each plant looks like it's put up one. And so, like I said, I think I told you guys before, but I'm just going to let that go and see what happens there. But they're starting to open up and separate, and I think there'll be little seed clusters in there. So I just figured we'd let it go and see how it went. And the big project that we did last week, experiment, was to construct this little quick and dirty, I don't want to call it a greenhouse, but I guess a poly house here. So basically, I just had some rebar in the ground that I was going to use for trellises. I grabbed some 2x4s that I already had out of just some stuff like in the walkway or salvage stuff. I drilled some holes, put them in there like that. Took some string to kind of help give a little structure, and then just took a big piece of plastic that I had left over from drop cloth for painting, and just poked some holes and put it in there. And then I've been checking the temperatures and seeing how it's doing, and it's been doing pretty good. So I'm going to stop the camera and then take this all apart so we can look and see what's going on in there. But I've been peeking in every day to look at the temperatures and stuff, and to see this plants, and it's made a huge difference with the sprouting in there. So I'm gonna come back in just a minute after I take this off, and we'll take a look. Okay, so now I took the top off, and we can see what it looks like. It's just, once again, an old piece of 2x4 with some holes drilled, pushed down onto the 2 pieces of rebar. And the same thing up there, except that one happens to be higher, so it makes this nice slope. I took some baling twine and just made a little bit of support so that when there's water it wouldn't sag all the way in the middle, it would kind of run off a little bit. And covered it up. Now basically I weighted the ends with some 2x4 just to kind of hold it in place. So now that I've got it off, we can see what's going on in there, which is probably going to look, yeah, it's definitely a lot different. I remember looking at it just like 3 days after we had put this on, and I was surprised, and so I actually went back to look and see what it was last Sunday, and it's amazing. So now it's just incredibly different. So obviously the first thing is all the peas. So our 2 rows of peas there on those 4 squares and these 4 squares have just gone tremendously crazy. They're up, several inches. So that's wonderful. So with the other plantings, we had a square of kale. It looks like all 4 of those are up. The kale back there, those have come up. And these kale over here, those 4 have come up. So they're the little ones right there. It looks like they have sprouted really well. And we put spinach right there. Looks like there's 2 of them back there in the back, and then 2 of them right there, and then 2 more right there. So not all 4 each square, but some of them have popped up, so that's good. And then this square we put chard. So there was chard there. It looks like only 1 little cluster came up there. There's a couple clusters here, and then all 4 of the ones sprouted down here really well. Then in this last part we put carrots. There was 1 variety of carrots there, which you can probably, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. You'll see a little better here. Here's another one of carrots, and there you can see them popping up very faintly. They're very tiny. And then here's the same, another planting of carrots right here, just popping up, and then our last one of carrots coming up here. So they're all looking great. Then we had beets right here. We've got 1, 2, a whole bunch right here, and then in that corner over there, the beets as well. So it's looked fantastic. Probably looked a lot better, except yesterday we had a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and this stuff kind of, I didn't have it really securely anchored. This part kind of blew open, and it kind of blew a bunch of leaves in there, blew some dirt around, and kind of messed it up. But it was looking really nice. That's what I've realized, is that's really, really nice to be able to have this over here. Is besides keeping it warmer in there, it keeps a lot of the junk out. So we don't have as many leaves popping up, because with a big leaf, because that's what I did before I turned on the cameras, pulled some of these leaves out of here, because this leaf, like this, can totally cover a bunch of carrots sprouts. And so, you know, something I never really considered, but especially until the things get going, having them covered really helps. It also really, really, really helps with the moisture. So last Sunday night it had rained most of the day, and then I put this cover on. And when I came out Monday, this entire cover had beads of water all over it, where the water from the bed had hit the sun and tried to evaporate, but got caught. So it didn't actually leave the area. It stayed warm and humid, where all the beds out here were starting to dry out. So I never realized exactly how important that was in a climate like we have. So it really helped increase the temperature. The highs were a lot higher in there. It kept it about 5 degrees warmer in the past week anyway. At night, 5 degrees warmer at night, and a lot warmer, maybe 20 degrees warmer in the daytime for the highs. So it really did a fantastic job. So we're definitely going to continue to use this for a while until things get going, and maybe keep it going as long as we can. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is just water those real gently, and then we can put the cover back on and let it do its thing for another week. So anyway, this is our first little experiment with this. Obviously next year I'm going to build something much more structurally sound and easier to use, but for now this works. It was a quick project, but it has made some incredible results, and it's great for protecting those little seedlings. So anyway, this is our spring garden for this week. Thanks for watching.